Hello, beekeepers. All right, this is a follow-up of the two videos I made. One, installing a package and what I would do if I bought a package, and two, what I do for nucleus colonies and why I do what we would do in a 8 or 10 frame box. So this has a lot to do with our 5 frame equipment. I think we have like, exactly, but like had like 140 of these. So that number will vary a little bit. So if you say 140, that would be if we doubled that up, right? 40, I don't know, half of that, what, 7? So we could have 70 of these set up, but you really can't because sometimes you're going to get 3 high during the season. We just let them go for honey because if I get 5 frames of honey, I'll take it. So because I want to make 100 hives this year, we made a whole bunch of following boards. And we're going to talk about why. So somewhere in April, beginning of April, we'll be splitting our hives. So we'll talk about how we do that later. But so splitting our hives is no different than you buying a nucleus colony. It's the same thing. When we go to our hive, we're going to find our queen. We got lucky. First shot, man, there she is on this wax foundation. No, it ain't. It's plastic foundation. And there she goes. We'll put her right in the center here, a little off center. And then we're looking for capped, dark capped brood, which would be emerging brood. The bees are hatching out on that frame. We're not really looking for young brood, which is milk brood. There's all kinds of names for it. But you know, you got your egg. It's going to hatch like 3 days later. You're going to have a young larva. They're going to start feeding it with royal jelly. It's going to get capped over, and it's going to be a light capping. And then as the bees crawl across it, it's going to get darker. And the darker it is, the closer to hatching out. That's what we're looking for, hatching brood. So, sorry, it just snowed all night. Another one. This is why I like using the foundations I use. Now we have 2 frames of cap brood. I don't know if you buy a nuke, you're going to get 3, but I want to leave my hive really strong. And we're not going to take more than leaving 6 frames of brood or more because I want honey, right? Then we're going to find a frame of nectar. I really want nectar, but if it has honey, chances are we've probably been feeding our hives anyway. So we got some nice nectar we're going to put in here, and we're going to find a nice frame of pollen, which there should be plenty of frames of pollen in here because they've been pulling it in. And then push that over, and now we have this. So you got 2 frames of brood, nectar, pollen, and then when you go out, we always have brand new ones. So you're gonna give them a brand new one. And then I still didn't bring a hive too. All right, the old knife. So now you're gonna center these. Any hive you do, you're gonna center them. So, excuse me. Depending on the weather, we can make the decision of either putting insulated lids on them, or my favorite is this thermal something. We just call it Mylar. That's the silver stuff. How this stuff works is like the blankets they put on you for disasters. It keeps your body heat in. Same for the bees. That heat hits this and pushes it right back down. They don't have to work as hard. So to keep their brood warm. And this box is kind of tight. We just have a little small opening on the front. And it's the same on the top. That sun hits it and it bounces right back. I feel the bees can regulate their brood temperature a lot better using a product like this. We have this little triangle cut in it. And that's for our feeding hole. Put this on. We're gonna, this is the trick part. You gotta push the triangle over. Now you could put your mason jar of sugar water on here, give them some tasty treats. Small piece of pollen just to like, makes them feel good. And that, before you close this up, I should have mentioned this. We're gonna find some open brood and we're gonna sweep, not shake, sweep some couple frames of bees off of it. You gotta remember, this hive's rocking right now. So we need to give them some bees. We're not taking this anywhere. We're just gonna set it right over here in the yard that we're made the split from. So all the foraging bees are gonna fly home. They know where home is. They don't care you put them in another box, they're flying home. So we need to give this split some population. They'll get foragers in a few days, so no worries there. So we just need to be able to give them everything they need to get by until they get foragers. And then at that point, and that's going to be really quick because we gave them a frame of brood that they're literally hatching out. And then the nurse bees we put in there, they're going to get a little older here, and then they're going to be foragers. Everything's going to be wonderful with this. So now we're back here, and we didn't take all of the frames out of just one box. We also manipulated this to put brood over brood again. Just like we talked about when you're building your nuke. It's the same thing. We got to put brood over brood, comb on each side of the brood, and then, of course, you know, new foundation. We need new foundation. We need new pulled comb. So here we are. This hive's queenless. Our queen's over here. This is our split. We hope that this is going to be a new hive. Meantime, we've done however many. In 6 days, this is really important for us. 6 days, we're going to come back, make sure everything's cool in here, and then we're going to get in here and tear down all the queen cells. I don't want this hive to go through an emergency queen, freaking out because they're freaking out, and then make a bunch of queen cells, and then I have to wait the entire time it takes for that to happen, only 22, 23 days for them to finally get a laying queen. That's just way too long, and especially if you think a brood cycle was 21 days. They are out of brood. This hive is broodless at this point in time. They can recover, and it's kind of called a walk-away split. I want to be in control. That's hands down, I want to be in control. So we're going to come back in 6 days. 6 days is the amount of time that they can no longer make a queen cell. We're going to come in here, we're going to tear them all down. And then we're going to put a virgin in here because we already got them. This is all planned out. We will have virgin to put in these hives the day we come back and tear down the queen cells and put a virgin in here. So 6 days has gone by. We're going to deal with this, another subject. Now we're back to our little split we made. That's a pretty good time to see that they're moving along. And depending on how many bees have hatched out, depending on the weather and the temperature, will depend on what we're going to do with this. If a whole lot of bees hatched out, it just happened to be them frames, and this thing is too many bees, we're going to do the same thing when your nuke got too big, right? We're going to pull a frame up. We're going to add another box. We're we're going to put some brand new frames in them, and there's going to be a frame of brood up here. We probably pulled 2 things up here, so now they can build that nest, because the population got crazy. You got to have somewhere for them to go. They got to hang out on something. And then, we put it back together. We already talked about how we use this. Boom, there we go. They're gonna grow. It's like end of April, mid to end of April. It's on, right? It's on. We got stuff coming in. So the main hive over here, we're gonna put a queen here. We're gonna tear down all the queen cells, and then we're gonna put a queen. She's ready to fly, right? We've already taken care of all that. She's ready to fly. And then I mentioned the 1-inch shim. I went looking for some stuff. So 1-inch shim, we can lay the queen cage down there and put it back together with the lid. However we're gonna do it, most of our lids are either telescoping, but we're going to these, and we're having them made with a 3/4 inch rim, so we don't have to have these, right? So it's making our life easier. Stuff, we don't want stuff, but for you might want that. Another thing we kind of tried, but kind of don't like it, is the little inner cover with the same thing for the area here. And a couple of reasons why we like this little area is, especially for you guys, if you use AppleGuard, and we use it a lot. They come in little tins. You can put that there, and it's not close to your regular inner cover to get that much room. It's not. They just properlize that up. We buy it by the bucket, so we just squirt it on the top of the hive frames, but it's still, we want this distance. You put a little pollen patty in there, the bees can cover it from the little dumb hive beetles, right? So, and then this is the size hole for the mason jar lid, 2 3/4. So now we put a queen in there, we're gone. 10 days. We're gonna come back in 10 days. So again, if the 5-framer didn't really populate yet, like the brood didn't all hatch out, we're going to be back in 10 days. So we could do this then and give them that time. Most of the time that's how it is, but sometimes you get them ones that just populate, and you got to give them room. You have to give them room. And they'll pull comb. So this is how we get a lot of pull comb. And then we'll split this again. It won't take end of May. We'll split this again and try to get more pulled comb. We're after pulled comb. Everybody's after pulled comb. It's gold, right? Unless it starts getting too old. Mark your stuff. We just put dots on the year we looked at it, and it works real good. So this rocks. I can't tell you how much this works so well. I don't know how much time we've got on this. So I'm going to stop it right here, and I'm going to make another one, and we'll talk about how I explained for you to do it, and this is kind of why, and we'll go from there. And I just can't get this watch to work, but hey, keep smiling. Part 2 over here.